Great morning, great afternoon, great evening. Hey love, hey love, hey love. I am Jessie C. Love, teacher love, coach love. It is a triumphant Thursday, thankful Thursday. This is the Sun Price segment, saving our marriage empowerment with prayer, reflection, revelation, inspiration, and courageous conversation and encouragement, enlightenment. It's my cousin's birthday. Love, love. I call her TL, Latoya Love. It's her birthday today. It's a couple people's birthday today. Anyway, this is episodes for healthy-minded married folk. I know I'm a little bit later than usual. I think I'm gonna come on at after 8 West Coast time. I was talking to my grandma. So, this is for the faithful, loving, respectful, progressive married folk that want to add and keep adding happiness to the happy that came to you. It is my hope and prayer that these segments will stimulate an enthusiasm to reinvent and continuously progress in your marriage. We're not designed to be alone. We're not supposed to be alone. That's not the way our Creator made us. So when two individuals come together, not only in prayer, but you're interdependent, you're intertwined, and you become stronger. Marriage is a higher level of commitment. It's a higher level of commitment. It's different. It is different. It's better. To me, marriage is a ministry. What kind of ministry depends on the two individuals that are involved that became one. What this one does immediately impacts, affects, and effects the other one. Man. Not only in the home, your neighbors, your community, maybe even the world if they see you. It's a ministry. With work and effort, I say that it doesn't have to be I'm mad, where infidelity, misery, miscommunication, abuse, drifting, or divorce are a part of the marriage. Instead, it can be we're glad, where it is wonderful, it's exciting, it's reviving, enthusiastic, grateful, lovingly loyal, astounding, and dynamically divine. Yes, indeed. Am I saying that marriage will not have its issues? Of course not. Because you're two different people that were raised in two different communities, households, environments, whatever. But you're coming together. There's a formula for success, just like there's one for failure. And it's really up to us what happens. With prayer, we don't leave our marriages up for happenstance. The enemy is at work all the time, 24/7, which means we got to be even more diligent and disciplined to work harder. Yes, praying without ceasing, doing what we need to do. Information changes situations. Prayer changes us and the environment. No, I'm not in covenant yet. I just spent a lot of years, a lot of hours with married and engaged folks. Gleaning, listening, learning. Sometimes crying, talking, praying, researching. And I pray to God. So if anybody has an issue with this assignment, take it up with the Lord. And I'm going to keep on saying that. Yeah, I'm being prepared. I wanted to know what it was like to be in a healthy marriage. And that's not to say that all the couples that I talk to are just my absolute role models. They gave me something to look forward to. How about that? So, yesterday, yeah, buddy. Talking about service and servitude and being a servant. Leaders are servants first. Today is about touch her. There's a Somali proverb that says there's always a better man for every good man. And when I read that, I didn't see that as, leave this one to get another one. I read it as the good man wants to become a better man. Yeah, he wants to learn. He grows. He evolves. Change. Yeah. Secure, healthy men know that serving and keeping his wives happy, he wins. The flip side says he's a wuss, he's a punk, he's whipped. Godly results come from godly works, and a healthy husband isn't in heat. He's working with his vision, with his passion. Dondre Whitfield, who's married to Sally Richardson and author of the book Man versus Male. Yes, I read that one too. Said that marriage is being selfless and of service at the same time. Selfless and of service at the same time. Yeah. All right. As far as yesterday with, the preacher that I talked about that said a lot of us that are single because we ain't ironing sheets. And I said I needed to ask my grandmama about that. And did my great grandma iron sheets? And I was talking with her and she said, yes, they did. And I was like, okay, grandma. She was like, back then, first of all, there was no electricity. There was no dryer. They had to iron just about everything. Everything. And I was like, wow. I was like, there's no electricity. I said, so that iron that I saw on the floor, you had to put that on the stove. She said, on the stove or over the fire. And then you had to make sure that you cleaned it off if you put it over the fire because soot would get there. And if you didn't, it would get on the clothes. She said it was a lot of work. But back then, with ironing everything, sheets were made with different material. She said it was pretty much required because of the material that it was made out of. Nowadays, the material is different. You don't have to put in all that work. She said, I don't iron much of anything. Back then, you had to iron overalls because of the material, whereas the overalls now, you don't really have to iron them. Everything changes. Back then, there were no places for women to go work. That's why they were called housewives. They worked in the home. In addition to raising the children. It was the men that went out and could actually have work to get paid, not the women. So then the women were basically left at a handicap, disability, because they had no outside experiences. Yeah, there was nowhere for them to go. And the boys were always outside. So they didn't even learn how to cook, which gave them a disability and disadvantage to where when they got older, they had to learn. Yeah. I was like, wow, Grandma. I said, yeah, because this preacher that was speaking, she was like, where was he talking? He could have said back then what happened was women had to iron sheets because of the material. He didn't know why when he was a child, but if he would have asked, he would have learned. It was the material, the reason why they had to iron those sheets. And it was a lot of work. I said, Grandma, this was a preacher I was listening to. She was like, oh, no, that's not the way you should have said that. There was a different way to say that and go about it. And I was like, he had me, like, oh my gosh, That was like one of his requirements for being a wife is to be able to iron some sheets. She was like, no. Even with cooking, it's different. So I spent some time talking with my grandma in reference to that. Yeah, the material is different now to where you got dryers. If you take it out at the right time, it's going to look ironed anyway. Our conversation isn't over, of course. I just had to ask her. And then, yes, she told me about when she worked with other people in their homes, she was ironing sheets. Yeah. Yeah. Moving along until I decide to bring up something else. It's tragic to be with an inattentive, selfish, and insecure person. And if you've never been with somebody like that, thank the Lord. Oh, because I have. And I don't even know why I allowed that, because that wasn't me. People say you attract who you are. That's a lie. It's more of who you allow to come and be with you. Like, oh my gosh. What was going on with me? Yeah. She died, though. She died. That me ain't, I don't know her no more. Anyway, A healthy husband wants to talk, spend time, appreciate time apart so that he can run back. Hold, love, smile, speak every love language, stay faithful, sacrifice, kill for, even die for the one that he loves. His love flows. It's through a healthy husband's thoughts towards his wife that his weakness, quote unquote, is her strength, and vice versa. Thank you, Tony, for talking about that. Want a recent example of a husband that serves and makes his wife look better? Ooh, look at Ciara and Russell Wilson. Look at how Ciara looked when she was with Future. There was no future in that other than their child. But if you really look at pictures of them together, you'll see how dark she looked. And I'd have to really go research to listen to the lyrics of any music that she brought out. But look at her now. She's so bright and vibrant. I don't know what Russ looked like before he married Ciara. And the fact that they waited until after they were married. He did it right. He did it right. I'm not touching you. I'm not defiling you. I'm not taking you away from the Lord. I'm not leading you to the bed. I'm leading you to God. And look at how blessed their marriage is. You can see that he touches her in the right way. You can see it. She exudes health. You know, like Angela Bassett, I've talked about her before. If you look at Samuel Jackson's wife, I think her name is Patricia. I've talked about them before. Yeah, if you look, ain't no plastic surgery and stuff going on there. Women get better with time. When they love right, you can see it. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach is this old bad doctrine that we hear of teaching quite often. Though it may be right or true for some, a lot of these men are being pumped for the kill. Looking at how their abdominal area protrudes because they're full of toxins and waste, that their intestines expanded. That's not healthy. No. Being fattened to die early. That whole way to a man's heart is through his stomach. That don't apply to everybody, and a lot of folks need to stop and change, get a lifestyle change going on before you eat yourself to death. Yeah. Some wives grew up being taught that cooking elaborate meals with hours of prep and hard work was praiseworthy. They may have heard their father boast about the love he felt when the mom cooked and he sat down to eat to his full course meal. I heard it from my father. Even recently. My stepmother cooked 8 pies. I'm like, for what? But she made them for a lot of folk. I'm like, I didn't hear anything about what anybody gave to her. But that's them. Problems can arise, though. I'm not marrying my father. And I ain't my stepmother. My husband may want to spend more time with me than me spending time over the stove, if you get what I'm saying. And vice versa. My husband gonna cook too, but I ain't gonna want him to be all up in the kitchen for hours at a time. We can hire a chef. Hello, somebody. I'd much rather have that energy going to him, preserved for him, a different kind of physical touch. A relationship can be solidified or it can crumble by touch or the lack of it. I've talked about how that experiment with the babies, the ones that were touched, comforted, held, versus the ones who didn't. The ones that didn't get that died earlier. To someone who loves to be physical, a slap can be devastating. To someone else, that physical is, touch ain't a big deal. It'll hurt. A shoulder touch can be comforting. A kiss on the cheek can be soothing. Can mean the world. Healthy husbands learn how to touch their wives to give her pleasure. Why? All touches carry their own level of importance. He doesn't look for a way that he touches her for his own wants or the way that he wants. No, he studies her to touch her the way that she wants. We knew every day. His touches communicate love. They don't foster irritation. They don't show lust. They don't demonstrate lust. He seeks to develop implicit and explicit demonstrations to fill her love tank. Some can lead to those grown man husband gifts, some touches, while others simply add life to her. If he knows that a hug or sitting next to her while watching TV, holding hands while riding in the car, a foot massage, he knows all of that and what it will do for her. A healthy-minded husband who knows his wife wants to be touched is only limited by his own imagination and its own ways to express love. That's his only limitation. If you've been limited, go on and find some ways to be unlimited. How exciting is it to find new ways, and places to explore your wife and learn her, to touch her? Made me think about myself and what I learned daily. Something new I learned last month that I had no clue in my studies. In my studies, I didn't know. And I'm like, oh my gosh. How many other women don't know? And husbands that don't know. Yeah, I'm going to say that for the wives, I think. We'll see. If she's a touchy woman, that embrace you give her before she leaves may help her come home faster. She won't be shopping all day. Won't be shopping and window shopping for hours. She'll be ready to get back home to her husband. Yeah. The body is for touching, and a healthy husband is also aware that her body is hers. Yes, we join in marriage. Yes, we become one flesh in marriage. Nevertheless, we don't own anyone. We don't even own ourselves. Come on now. We're not able to do as we choose with somebody else's body. A healthy husband lets his wife inform him of whether or not what he's doing is pleasurable or not. He sees it as feedback. No, she's not a right, left, right, up, down, go in circles. Nah, she ain't like that. She ain't no drill sergeant. For anything. In any capacity. Still, you're learning her love language. You're learning it. And it transfers to being a happy time for you too. Explore. Touch, what does that ear rub do? How does that feel to her? If you're taller than her and you go by and you just start massaging her head, what does that do? You wash her hair and give her a head massage. What does that do? Hello, somebody. Think about it. She was created. There's so much to learn about her daily. Of course, there's guidelines and boundaries that you don't want to cross. When we love someone, we don't do that. Abuse is never acceptable. This is one reason why our love for our spouse doesn't allow us to give freedom to open up and allow sexual intimacies with other people to infiltrate. Not at all. A healthy husband never wants to cause emotional trauma to his wife, nor does he want to grapple with the idea that somebody else would touch his wife. And the same for her. For those, the repair process for that kind of crisis, never ending. Never forgotten. Ever. Think about the movie Best Man. The character Lance, played by Morris Chestnut, and the character that was Mia, played by Monica Calhoun, he joked about being unfaithful to his girlfriend. And everybody in the crew knew. Excuse me. They all knew. It didn't become bad until Mia did it. Then it was a problem. And it took Lance over 5 years to get to the point of forgiving. When I watched that movie, and I know a lot of people are, I am a deep thinker. I go beyond what is shown. And when I watched that, and she ended up developing cancer in the second one, The Best Man Holiday, I thought, now what if all the unforgiveness and the guilt that she carried, the shame that I'm sure she felt because he did not forgive completely, all of that, the events, could that have led to her body breaking down and the sea taking over her? Could it have? There's so many lessons in both of those movies. The stress of it. Here, I know you done had all of them, but this one time you holding it. This one time you got served the dish that you had been serving. You're holding it. Yeah. Physical touch powerfully communicates love. Healthy parents know to lovingly touch their children to help them thrive. A father doesn't tell his son to suck it up when his son falls and scrapes his knee. But then when his daughter falls and scrapes her knee, he goes and picks her up and cuddles her. No. They are both feeling pain. You don't do that. You don't create that kind of child at all. Boy or girl. Let them cry if they need to. No marriages without crisis. Some have more than others. Some have less. Failure to touch or hold one another, even long after some kind of crisis has passed, will never be forgotten. Ever. You weren't there when they needed you, and it may have just been a hug, just to hold them and let them cry. And no, at that time, a healthy husband is not looking for a sexual touch, like baby boy, when, I forget her name right now, but he hit her. And instead of just holding and caressing her and just easing the pain that way, even giving her a massage, he turned it into sexual. And you could see she was not fulfilled. What did she do? She turned over, sucked her thumb to comfort herself when he thought he was doing something. Nope, he didn't. Yeah, that can be traumatizing in itself. Your wife loses a parent, you know not to seek sex. Her body miscarries. The healthy husband knows not to be looking for physical intimacy. A healthy husband knows to support his wife and keep his presence strong to communicate his care, his concern, and his love. Thinking about that unhealthy husband's spreadsheet, we don't know if his wife had recently experienced a miscarriage, but yet he was asking her for sex, not even making love. Yeah, that made me think about that. I hadn't thought about that when I was looking at that chart. We don't know. I said we don't know if she was pregnant or recently had a child, but then today it dawned on me she could have had a miscarriage. Now, I don't want to know what that's like personally. I've seen it, though. I've seen it. And the devastation. A couple of women in and close to my family. It was like one August where they both had miscarriages, and another woman was in the hospital. And that's another reason why I usually go so hard during my birthday month. Because of the trauma of that. Just me on the outside. Me on the outside. Yes, the man feels it. Ain't the same though. Ain't the same with you carrying another human being in your body. But you do feel it. It's just not the same. No matter how long it takes, a healthy husband holds and loves his wife until she's ready to be physically intimate again, sexually. He's definitely not asking her for sex daily. Mm-mm. He knows that she loves him and she'll let him know when she's ready. He's always healthy and aware to be even more gentle. Moreover, if touch is his need, that kiss on the cheek or neck, the hug, the hold, though it doesn't release the same endorphins, it gives some sense of steering clear from feeling unloved or unwanted. A healthy husband is not necessarily amazed at how his touch to his wife can be. He's usually more pleased and responsive. More often than not, his spirit gets lifted too. How well a healthy husband learns to touch his wife will make a lot of difference. That happy spouse, happy house, that touch that comes at the right time makes a lot of difference. Pray to learn how to keep touching your wife the way that she needs you to. Pray to have the desire to keep learning her daily. Pray to touch her soul by feeding it, spiritually. Pray to touch her mind by imparting wisdom and helping her evolve. Pray to touch her heart so she trusts you completely. Pray to keep in touch with your Creator to stay aware of the blessing in you and the blessed gift you're connected to. Pray for strength to be able to touch her and not always lead to making love. Pray for ways to normalize physical intimacy while clothed. Have a playful pillow fight. It's a different kind of touch. If she usually goes to a spa for a pedi mani, ask or surprise her and do it for her 1 week. You don't need the sharp tools. Just remove the polish, soak her feet, or a delightful bath. Use the pumice stone or a file to get the dead skin cells off if she's accumulated any. File her nails. Look at how they're done and copy it. Patience, love. It's patience. Moisturize her feet. Moisturize her hands. Massage her hands, her fingers, her forearm. Go all the way up the forearm. If you want, go all the way up the whole arm. Massage her feet, her ankles, all the way up to her knee. And if you want, go all the way up the leg. Whatever. Moisturize and massage. And then add the polish. While she's sitting, letting her nails dry. Move up, massage her face, massage her head, massage her shoulders. Or go to the kitchen and get that fruit that you know she likes, that you've already pre-cut, and feed it to her. Today's Thursday. I know it's thankful and it's triumphant. You healthy husbands, make it a touch her Thursday. Every Thursday. Go ahead and do that and explore where she likes to be touched, spot by spot, and the pressure that she likes to be touched with, spot by spot, whether she's clothed or not. She can give you 2 thumbs up for a yes, 1 thumb up for a maybe, no thumbs for a no. Touch her Thursday. Yeah, go ahead and be triumphant. Pray to remain playful with her. Play a game of Twister. Use your finger to massage love statements or sentences and have her guess what you're writing. Just go somewhere and write something. And let her figure out what it is that you're spelling. If you're blessed with children, when you pray, hold hands. Did you do that while y'all were dating? You reached over, let us pray. Do you still do that? Healthy husbands do. If you hold hands to pray during courting, or you held hands, pray to stay that way. Consistency of character is vital. Pray that your wife doesn't feel like you used to. Pray that she can say, he still does. Yeah. Tonight, sleep on her side of the bed. Just switch it up. Especially after that touch her Thursday. Sleep on her side of the bed. You never know. You might wake up to a fruitful Friday. You never know. Love, Dare, Devotion, Day 7. Oh, I was talking about soil the other day. It says love is fertile soil. Writing. That you being rooted and grounded in love comes from Ephesians 3:17. When we plant a living seed into healthy soil, we expect it to blossom. And just as flowers in a greenhouse are supplied with an ideal environment for growth, so a home filled with love provides the ideal atmosphere for people to bloom. We know that children who grow up in loving families tend to sleep deeper, stand taller, and venture farther than those who are never secure in their parents' love. Wow. Parents, both. Yes, both are needed. That's why a man's children need to be in the home with him. Healthy husbands do that. They make it work. Likewise, when you provide safe, loving soil for your spouse to grow in, they will be more likely to flourish with confidence, knowing they are valued and secure. What happens when someone is loved over the years? Their needs are met. Their dreams are encouraged. Their opinions are heard. And their successes are praised. They're assured of your patience and forgiveness when they fail or they make a misstep or a mistake. They're free to express themselves honestly without fear of your judgment. They'll even weather intense seasons of disappointment with the stability your love supplies. It says, admitted, we'd all love to be loved like that. The questions it asks: how will your mate be affected by living with you in the future? Ooh-wee. That's deep. Will they become radiant or saddened? Just what I was talking about with Russell Wilson and Ciara. Angela Bassett, Courtney Vance. Just what I was talking about. Will they become confident or angry? Will you dare to create a loving environment for your spouse to grow in? Oh my goodness. Will your healthy husbands help their wives radiate? Yeah. I'm going to say it that way. This has been the Some Price segment. When all is said and done, you are your husband or wife's 10 out of 10. You are her perfect. You're her perfect. It's about the team. It's about the partnership. And we all have to put in the work and the effort. Mr. Les Brown's acronym of work is willingness to do what it takes. I add it without causing harm. Optimism, to believe everything works out for your good. Don't cause harm. You don't need no added stress. God gives blessings with no added sorrow, or with no sorrow added to it. I think most of the time we're the ones that add sorrow. R, being able to reinvent yourself to go from what was your best to being even greater when you're together. K is having a kindred spirit for socializing. You're able to ask for help. You're able to receive help. And then you are connected to the right relationships. Y'all tell I didn't have no tea this morning. When we love ourselves, it's easy to give love. We don't beat up on ourselves. We don't beat down on ourselves. Oftentimes, we have to still train ourselves to stop talking negatively. But the way we treat ourselves is usually the way we're going to treat someone else. When we're healthy, of course. Some people, never mind. It's even better when we get loved back. Save our marriage empowerment with prayer, reflection, inspiration, courageous conversation, and encouragement. Segment number 39 with love. Naturally. If you do that Touch Me Thursday, you ain't got to tell me. You ain't got to tell me. Your wife can tell me, though. But, yeah, you ain't got to tell me. I appreciate your time. Thank you for tuning in. Make it a lovely day. Not just for you. Find someone else and help them have a lovely day, too. Husbands, that means your wives. For those of us that are single, it starts with self, and then you can give it to somebody else. Yeah. Love you. Do everything in love. Be love.